Hi guys, it's Professor Fernandez, and I'm here to talk a little bit more about the thesis for your compare and contrast essay. So you've probably read the essay, or what we like to call the teaching essay or the guiding essay. We usually like grab an essay from a professional writer and kind of talk you through it, which is why we annotate. That didn't have a thesis, exactly as I explained in the video. There's a reason for that. So the thesis, not that the thesis that is in the essay is wrong. It is actually really correct. The thesis that I'm teaching you is a thesis that you can use for other essays. And so I want you to be able to write a good thesis should you go into English 1302, or go into your history class, or go into a sociology class, or continue on into your college career, and you have to write a paper for some obscure class, and you're like, I don't know how to start this. What is a thesis, right? I want you to get a good basis of a thesis. And so that's why I am requiring you to do a thesis with 3 reasons. And so I'm gonna kind of review a little bit of what I'm looking for a thesis for this particular essay. And then we're going to do a thesis life. We're going to take it from like brainstorming to a thesis, and then start an outline, right? So we're going to take it through those pieces. And it's not going to take very long at all. It's just you've got to go through the process. So it's just like, okay, so you want to go on a road trip and you haven't had an oil change in 3 months or however many miles, right? You may want to get an oil change first, because I don't know what's going to happen on your way to like wherever you're going, right? So you want to do some things first. You have a road trip, you have to check your car, check the engine oil, check the transmission, check all the things under the hood, check your tires. You want to make sure that all your reservations are ready to go. Make sure you have money in the bank. Make sure someone's feeding the dog while you're gone. Make sure you have all your English work done before you leave. So it's that same process. So before you even put one word on paper, before you even start bringing up a Word document and saying, all right, I'm going to start this essay, before you even go to the writing lab, you got to start this process. So let me do a screen share here, friends. And dun, 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 I'm going to screen share this first, and then I'm going to screen share something else in a minute. Okay, so let me screen share this. This should look very familiar. This is your lesson, right? This is what I put up as your lesson, and this is an important screen. And I spent a lot of time on this in the lesson, talking about the 3 things that makes a thesis a good thesis, especially for the compare and contrast essay. So for the compare and contrast essay, your thesis needs to declare a winner, right? It needs to say why that thing won, the thing that you declared won. And you need to take the other points into account. And that's where I usually lose students, which is why I'm doing this video. Okay, so looking at this thesis that we have here, we say, especially about the 2 cars, right? Despite both cars being similar, the blue car is the best choice because it gets better gas mileage, the car payments are affordable, and it has fewer miles. So we're going to start with taking the other point into account, despite both cars being similar. So we are recognizing that both of these cars are similar. So we're taking that into account. 2, we have to declare a winner. We're saying that the blue car is awesome and it's the best choice. Now we're going to say why it's the best choice for these 3 reasons. Better gas mileage, car payments are affordable, has fewer miles. See how that works? It's got 3 sections in it, and that's what makes a really good compare and contrast thesis. Yes, you can have a compare and contrast thesis that doesn't have the 3 things, just like our teaching essay or our model essay has, and it would be, in a perfect world, correct. But because I want you to be able to work on a thesis, and because it's going to help you do the thesis for your next essay, which is more likely a research essay, especially if you're in the summers, in the summer semesters. If you are in the spring or fall semester, your next essay is probably going to be an annotated bib, but that essay, that research essay is around the corner. So you really want to learn how to do this and do this well, okay? So let me stop sharing here to share new things. And so what I'm gonna do right now is that I am going to actually delete this because I've recorded this twice now. Technology, man, technology. And we are going to talk about Skittles versus Kit Kats. Do not email me about what is your favorites because you are not going to win against the teacher who loves Kit Kats. Kit Kats are far superior than Skittles. Don't at me. Okay, so go debate that with your mama. Okay, so Skittles versus Kit Kats. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're comparing and contrast is that you want to do your Venn diagram or your T-chart. This is an example of a T-chart. It's usually because it's formulated as a T, and you write what's different on the sides and what's similar in the middle. Because we're doing this digitally, I went ahead and did a similarities column. But you can do the same thing on Word or on Google Doc. This may be easier for you. You may want to write it however you want to do it. It's your process, so do what you need to do. But definitely you're going to need to brainstorm and you're going to need to put this in first. Put this work in here first, right? So we're going to write some interesting things about Kit Kats and Skittles. Just, for transparency's sake, I did kind of Google Skittles and Google Kit Kats and learned some very interesting things about Skittles and Kit Kats. So that may be something you might want to do before you talk about zombies or before you talk about who's a better witness in a certain case. You may want to grab some knowledge first, so that way you don't have anything that's basic, because basic comparisons and basic things that they have that are different is not really going to make for a good paper. And I can literally, it is one of those Jedi mind tricks, or one of those Jedi skills that I have acquired in the many years of doing this work, that I can tell whether a student has done the due diligence in their brainstorming or not. Because if you don't brainstorm, the paper is not going to really do what it needs to do, which means I'm going to read it, and the first thing I'm going to ask you is, let me see your brainstorming. And you're going to show me something that's very shallow, and I'm going to say, that's why your paper got a D. So, or your paper didn't do well. So let's go ahead and look at this. All right, so Skittles, Kit Kats. Here are some similarities you may not know. Both have interesting histories. If you don't know, look them up. Very interesting histories. Very interesting, okay? So that's one thing that they have in common. I think they're both kind of delicious. I think they're both great. Good decisions, good choices to eat from the vending machine, right? Talking about vending machine, they more than likely aren't vending machines. Usually, right? They both are great Halloween candies and come in bite size for Halloween, right? We both have those, they both have those things. So let's talk about differences. Obviously, Kit Kats, they got chocolate on the outside. Skittles, hard candy on the outside. On the inside, Kit Kats have wafers. You didn't know what that crunchy thing was on Kit Kats? It's called wafers. I was like 20 years old when I figured that out. No judgment. All right, so Skittles. On the inside, we're gonna have to Google this. I'm gonna call it like fruity gumminess. And I'm gonna say research. A note to myself that I need to research, because again, I'm in brainstorming mode, and I did a little research, but I didn't figure this out. So I know I'm gonna go back and research it so I know what the correct word is to use, right? Let's see. let's see. So they're both wafers, both chocolate on the inside. Or the differences there. Oh, this one is made, Hershey made this one. And Wrigley makes Skittles. Did you know that? I did not know that. I actually looked that up. Wrigley makes it, and they're a division of Mars bars, right? Where Hershey is a division of Nestle. Yeah, can you believe it? Yeah, I went a little deep. Sorry, right? You have those different things. Um, oh, they both come. Here's a similarity. They both come in different flavors. Yeah, Google it. Kit Kat comes in different flavors. Flavors. Okay, what else are some differences between Skittles and Kit Kats? Um, well, they're both about the same price at the store, but we also know that this one comes like in a bar like, so this is like bars, and this is more like individual. I'm gonna call them ovals. They both got cool commercials, man. Like, really, like they both got cool. I mean, come on. Though I do prefer the Kit Kat commercials better. Um, so they both got good commercials. One comes in bars, one comes in individual ovals. Um, the packaging is different. So this one is like a bunch, like it's kind of a looser packaging, right? So a bunch comes in a bag almost, and this is more like it's like a sealed. I'm gonna yeah sealed packaging. Not that the other one isn't sealed, but you can tell the shape from the packaging versus you can't really tell the shape of Skittles in the packaging, right? So that's what we have so far. We can stop here, um, or we can keep going. I'm going to stop here because I want to get to the thesis part. So we have some really good, interesting things. Um, and we can keep going by like really doing some research on it, really understanding it a little bit more, and we can go in a little bit deeper. But for this, we need to stop. So it's because I want to talk about what we're going to do. So just a reminder, refresher, we know that we need to declare a winner, right? We need to declare a winner. We also need to kind of talk about why they won, and we need to see the other point, right? So knowing that that's our structure, we can say something along the lines of, although both, or not just both, although Kit Kat and Skittles are popular candies in the United States, comma. So we're seeing the other point, we're conceding right there that they're both popular. Actually, we can put that right here, that they're both popular. All right. Now we gotta say which one won, and it's gonna be Kit Kat again. Debate that with your people. Don't debate it with me. All right. So, although that Kit Kat is a superior candy because, all right, now here's where we decide on three things, three reasons why we think they're great and much better. And that's how I usually will go to my my differences here, because no, hello, no, because it is made out of chocolate. The wafers add a nice crunch, and dun, 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 we could talk about, I actually kind of like the idea that they're made by Hershey. And are made by the most popular chocolate maker, Hershey. Boom. Well, when you look at that, that's a thesis. So we went from doing our due diligence with our brainstorming and either a Venn diagram or a T chart. We really want to work on this pretty well, because the better the brainstorming, the better the paper, hands down. I don't think there is another paper that is as directly influenced by its brainstorming other than the compare and contrast. Yes, you have to do brainstorming for your research paper, whether it's a proposal essay, whether it's an argument essay, yes. But sometimes as you're going through those papers, in the process of those papers, you have time to go back and research, which kind of changes things a little bit. For this one, if you don't have at least something at the beginning, it's gonna play with your structure, it's gonna play with what you're gonna say. So that's why it's very important that the brainstorming, you spend some time with it. All right, so we have our thesis, and in this thesis, we have our structure, or the beginnings of our structure. You probably remembered in the lesson that there's different structures that you could use. So I'm gonna take the basic, I believe we called it the point by point, right? Where we're just in one paragraph, we just do one over the other, one over the other, one over the other, right? So I'm gonna do a very loose outline for you. Outlines come in different shapes and sizes. You can make them very structured or very loose. Again, this is your process. However your process is going to work is what you're going to do. So we have three things. So it's spirit candy because it is made out of chocolate. Woo-hoo. So we're going to talk about how things are made out of, what things are made out of. So that's one. We're going to talk about the insides, which is the wafers. Two. And we're going to talk about who made it. Three. Right. Okay. So the first one that we're going to talk about is what it is made out of. The outside, right? Because we're going to talk about the inside later, right? And so you can do it this way. I can do it this way because I usually do it this way. But if you wouldn't want to just write it out and not do A, B, C, whatever, and just do it that way, that's perfectly fine. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Kit Kat. And we know that on the outside it's made of chocolate. And then Skittles is made out of hard candy. It's hard shell. That's fruity, right? Then the next thing we're going to talk about is the insides. And we're going to talk about Kit Kat. Yeah, Kit Kat. And it's made out of, hello if I can spell, made out of wafers. Crunchy wafers. Man, I'm going to get some Kit Kats after this. I wasn't going to, but I've been talking about Kit Kats for the last 30 minutes. So, all right, Skittles. See, this is how much I want Kit Kats. I can't even spell Skittles. Okay, Skittles. And Skittles are made out of the insides are made of like that gummy thing, fruity gummy thing that we are going to look up, right? Because we made a note to ourselves right here that we're going to research what this actually is. Something with gelatin, I don't know. So it's fruity gummy on the inside, right? And then the last thing we're going to talk about is makers. Who makes it? So Kit Kat is made by Hershey, which is part of Nestle. And then Skittles is made by Wrigley. Ah, I can't talk. I need some Kit Kats. It's made by Wrigley, and Wrigley is a conglomerate of Mars bars. Okay, so we know that this is pretty much our three body paragraphs of our essay, right? We have what it's made out, what the outside's made of, what the inside's made of, and who makes them. 1, 2, 3. You have most of your paper. Of course, you're going to have your introductory, which has what? Your thesis, right? That's right there. And then you're going to have your conclusion, which is literally just like mic drop, Kit Kat's rule, Skittles rule. Pretty much what's going to say, but like nicer with like actual words. But that will be the sentiment, right? So there you have your paper. And so you've already outlined your paper. And we've only been at it for a couple of minutes. So what you want to do at this point, if I were you, is that I would walk away, and then the next day I would actually work on each one of these body paragraphs, right? I would work on body paragraph 1, and I would work on actually writing this thing. Write full sentences, write that paragraph, write it as long as you want. Don't do short paragraphs for right now. Do the long paragraphs, walk away. Next day, or if you're gonna go watch a movie and then come back, after your movie, next body paragraph, long paragraph. Go watch another movie, go enjoy your time with your friends, go like have a dinner or whatever, come back, last body paragraph. Then go to bed. The next day, then what you want to do is start editing, right? Start taking things out, start moving things around, start revising it. That may be a really good time to go to the writing lab or to book some time with the writing lab and say, hey, this is my thesis. These are my body paragraphs. I know I have to write an intro and a conclusion, but I want to focus on the body paragraphs right now. Can we work on this now? And then I can work on these two things, the intro and the conclusion, later, and then come back later. See how that works? So that way you're not working on your paper the night before, the day before, hours before, 2 days before, 3 days before. This is something that you want to work on. And you do have a couple weeks to work on this. So the sooner you do this work, the better you can work on, because you really want to spend most of your time with your papers in revision. You don't want to spend the time in your papers actually writing it. You want to write fast, edit and revise slow. So the quickest time that you can use to put all the stuff down on paper, down on the screen, and then work on it, the better it is. So if it takes you a day just to put it out on paper, put it in paper, and then spend the time then actually revising it and editing it. That's kind of the process you want. Because, and as one of my kindly advisors and professors have told me, books get written in revision. Essays get written in revision. They don't get written the night before. They don't get written as you're creating it. They get written as you kind of understand what you're going to say, and you can go through the process. So writing is a process. There's no end point. If you think the end point is turning it in, no, you're just turning it in. You're really turning in a draft. That's maybe draft 3, 4, 5. But in reality, I could give you back that essay with notes, and you could work on it again and add more things to it, and you can get more notes. So there's no ending point. I don't want you to think there's an ending point to this, but I do want you to understand that this is a process. All right, I am done. I have given you lots of advice, and I am sweating because there is no air conditioning in this room yet, and I had to turn off the fan to talk to you. So I'm going to turn on this fan. I'm going to cool down. I hope you enjoyed this and this is helpful. Please let me know if you need more clarification. Okay, bye.